The starborn echo was silent. Too silent, Captain Kane stood on the bridge, staring at the blackness outside. His crew was tense. The alien girl, small, pale blue, and afraid, sat beside the medic, Dana, wrapped in a thermal blanket, and then the lights flickered. "Vera, status report," Kane ordered. The AI's voice glitched. "I detect. Movement. Multiple contacts. Closing in. Silent mode. Activated." Silent. Kane stepped forward. "They're jamming us?" "No," Vera replied. "They're not broadcasting anything. No signals. No ID. Just moving." Lyra checked the scanners. "Sir, there's 3 ships. Black holes. No heat signatures." "There. Fast." "How fast?" Kane asked. "Too fast," she whispered. Kane's jaw clenched. Shields up. Weapons ready. And then, without warning, they fired. No hails. No warnings. Just white-hot beams slicing through the stars. Scene 1. Under attack. The starborn echo shook violently as the first blast slammed into its outer hull. "Shields at 60%, Lyra shouted. "Return fire." Lyra slammed. Jonah slammed the weapons controls. Twin plasma turrets lit up, sending bolts of blue energy toward the attackers. But the enemy ships moved like shadows darting between the shots. "It's too quick, too precise." "They're toying with us," Jonah growled. "Like cats with a mouse," the alien girl screamed. Her hands went to her head as if in pain. Her skin shimmered, then glowed faintly. "Dana, what's happening to her?" Kane asked. "She's in shock," Dana said. "She's connected to something. I think she can feel them." Kane turned to her. "Who are they? Who's after you?" The girl looked up, her voice shaking. "Purifiers. They found me." Scene 2. Who are the Purifiers? The ship jerked again. Another hit. Kane grabbed the girl's shoulders gently. "Who are the Purifiers? Why are they chasing you?" The girl took a deep breath. "My name is Lunara. I'm the last of the Zelari." "The Zelari," Lyra echoed. "That peaceful race that vanished years ago." Lunara nodded slowly. "The Purifiers came. They said our compassion was a disease, that peace was weakness. They destroyed our worlds, one by one." "Why you?" Kane asked. "Why are they still hunting you?" Lunara touched her chest. "I carry the seed, a memory core, my people's. History, everything. If I survive, the Zelari survive." Kane looked at his crew. "That's why they want her dead, to erase her people completely." Jonah shook his head. "This is genocide." Blast rocked the ship again. "We don't have time for a history lesson," Lyra shouted. "We need to get out of here." Scene 3. The warp trick Vera. "Options?" Kane asked. "Limited," the AI replied. "Standard warp won't escape them. They're faster." "There's one way," Jonah said. A slingshot warped through the gravity field of the gas giant nearby. Lyra's eyes widened. "That's insane. The field could crush us." "Not if we hit it just right," Jonah said. "But we'll only get one shot." Kane didn't hesitate. "Do it, sir," Lyra asked. "She's a child," Kane said, pointing to Lunara. "And they want her dead just because she exists. I won't let that happen." Jonah punched in the coordinates. "Hang on, this is going to be rough." Scene 4. The chase. The starborn echo turned sharply, heading toward the massive gas giant looming nearby, its swirling orange clouds filling the view. Behind them, the black ships followed. Silent. Unstoppable. There. "Gaining," Lyra shouted. 30 seconds to gravity well? Lunara clutched Dana's hand tightly. "They won't stop. They never stop." "We're not stopping either," Dana whispered back. The ship shook as it entered the planet's gravity field. "Heat rising," Vera warned. "Structural strain increasing." The hull creaked loudly. Alarm screamed. "Now, Jonah," Kane shouted. Jonah hit the warp trigger. The engine screamed. The stars stretched into lines. The ship vanished. Scene 5. After the jump, silence. The starborn echo floated in deep space. Alone, systems flickered, then steadied. Kane looked around. "Damage. The engines are fried," Jonah said. We're running. On backups, but we're alive? Did they follow? Lyra asked. No sign of them, Vera replied. We're clear. For now, everyone let out a breath. Lunara opened her eyes. They won't stop, she said again. They'll search every system. They can smell me. We'll keep moving, Kane said. You shouldn't have saved me, she whispered. He crouched. Beside her, we're humans. That's what we do. Scene 6. A new mission later in the briefing room. Kane gathered the crew. She's more than just a refugee, he said. She's the last spark of a whole civilization. At him, what are we supposed to do? Run forever? No, Kane said. We find allies. We tell the truth. We show the galaxy what the Purifiers are. And if they come again? Lyra asked. Kane looked at Lunara, who was sleeping peacefully now. Then we show them, he said coldly, why humans are called dangerous. Asterisk, asterisk, in the black of space, one of the Purifier ships hovered over Lunara's old escape pod. Scanners buzzed. A cold voice whispered in the dark. She survived. Begin the hunt. The starborn echo was silent. To silent, Captain Kane stood on the bridge, staring at the blackness outside. His crew was tense. The alien girl, small, pale blue and afraid, sat beside the medic, Dana, wrapped in a thermal blanket. And then the lights flickered. Vera, status report, Kane ordered. The AI's voice glitched. I detect. Movement. Multiple contacts. Closing in. Silent mode. Activated. Silent. Kane stepped forward. They're jamming us? No, Vera replied. They're not broadcasting anything. No signals, no ID. Just moving. Lyra checked the scanners. Sir, there's 3 ships. Black holes. No heat signatures. They're fast. How fast? Kane asked. Too fast, she whispered. Kane's jaw clenched. Shields up. Weapons ready. And then without warning, they fired no hails. No warnings, just white-hot beams slicing through the stars. Scene 1. Under attack, the Doorborne echo shook violently as the first blast slammed into its outer hull. Shields at 60%. Lyra shouted. Return fire. Kane barked. Jonah slammed the weapons controls. Twin plasma turrets lit up, sending bolts of blue energy toward the attackers. But the enemy ships moved like shadows darting between the shots. Too quick, too precise. They're toying with us, Jonah growled. Like cats with a mouse, the alien girl screamed. Her hands went to her head as if in pain. Her skin shimmered, then glowed faintly. Dana, what's happening to her? Kane asked. She's in shock, Dana said. She's connected. To something, I think she can feel them. Kane turned to her. Who are they? Who's after you? The girl looked up, her voice shaking. Purifiers. They found me. Scene 2. Who are the Purifiers? The ship jerked again. Again. Kane grabbed the girl's shoulders gently. Who are the Purifiers? Why are they chasing you? The girl took a deep breath. My name is Lunara. I'm the last of the Zelari. Zelari, Lyra echoed. That peaceful race that vanished years ago. Lunara nodded slowly. The Purifiers came. They said our compassion was a disease. That peace was weakness. They destroyed our worlds. One by one. Why you? Kane asked. Why are they still hunting you? Lunara touched her chest. I carry the seed, a memory core. My peoples. History. Everything. If I survive, the Zelari survive. Kane looked at his crew. That's why they want her dead. To erase her people completely. Jonah shook his head. This is genocide. A blast rocked the ship again. We don't have time for a history lesson? Lyra shouted. Now we need to get out of here. Scene 3. The warp trick Vera options, Kane asked. Limited, the AI replied. Standard warp won't escape them. They're faster. There's one way, Jonah said. A slingshot warp through the gravity field of the gas giant nearby. Lyra's eyes widened. That's insane. The field could crush us. Not if we hit it just right, Jonah said. But we'll only get one shot. Kane didn't hesitate. Do it, sir? Lyra asked. She's a child, Kane said, pointing to Lunara. And they want her dead just because she exists. I won't let that happen. What? Jonah punched in the coordinates. Hang on, this is going to be rough. Scene 4. The Starborn Echo turned sharply, heading toward the massive gas giant looming nearby, its swirling orange clouds filling the view. Behind them, the black ships followed, silent, unstoppable. They're gaining, Lyra shouted. 30 seconds to gravity well. Lunara clutched Dana's hand tightly. They won't stop. They never stop. We're not stopping either, Dana whispered back. The ship shook as it entered the planet's gravity field. Heat rising, Vera warned. Structural strain increasing. The hull creaked loudly. Alarms screamed. Now, Jonah, Kane shouted. Jonah hit the warp trigger. The engines screamed. The stars stretched into lines. The ship vanished. Scene 5. After the jump silence, the Starborn Echo floated in deep space. Alone, systems flickered, then steadied. Kane looked around. Damage. Engines are fried, Jonah said. We're running. On backups? But we're alive? Did they follow? Lyra asked. No sign of them, Vera replied. We're clear. For now. Everyone let out a breath. Lunara opened her eyes. They won't stop, she said again. They'll search every system. They can smell me. We'll keep moving, Kane said. You shouldn't have saved me, she whispered. He crouched. Beside her, we're humans. That's what we do. Scene 6. A new mission later in the briefing room. Kane gathered the crew. She's more than just a refugee, he said. She's the last spark of a whole civilization. Jonah looked at him. What are we supposed to do? Run forever? No, Kane said. We find allies. We tell the truth. We show the galaxy what the Purifiers are. And if they come again? Lyra asked. Kane looked at Lunara, who was sleeping peacefully now. Then we show them, he said coldly, why humans are called dangerous. In the black of space, one of the Purifier ships hovered over Lunara's old escape pod. Scanners buzzed. A cold voice whispered in the dark. She survived. Begin the hunt. A cold silence filled the bridge of the Starborn Echo. Then the galaxy exploded into noise. Dozens of comms blared across the system bounty boards. Civilian alerts, military channels all saying the same thing. Warning, the vessel Starborn Echo is infected by compassion. The crew has harbored forbidden life form, Zelari. They are now classified as contaminated. Purge on site. Captain Elias Kane stared at the screen. Jonah muttered, we just got marked for death. For saving a little girl. Lyra slammed her fist on the console. They're twisting the truth. We didn't do anything wrong, but the messages kept coming. More ships joining the hunt. Bounty hunters, Rogue A is. Even old allies Kane had once. Fought beside. They were all coming. Not for Lunara. For them. Scene 1. Betrayed by the galaxy, Kane walked into the medbay. Lunara was sitting up now, looking stronger. But her eyes were full of guilt. I heard she said quietly, I've turned on you. Kane nodded. Yeah, because we showed compassion. They call it infection, Lunara whispered. That's what the Purifiers do. They use fear. They control minds. Jonah walked in, holding a datapad. Bounties already rising. We're worth more than a warship now, dead or alive. We need to disappear, Lyra said. Now, Kane agreed. We go dark. Scene 2. Ghost Run. The Starborn Echo powered down everything but the basics engines low. Lights dimmed, communications silent. They flew like shadows, slipping between asteroid fields and forgotten space lanes. Kane knew the galaxy well, and he knew one place no one liked to talk about. Black Reach Station. It wasn't on maps, it wasn't in databases, but it was real. A floating scrapyard, an outlaw haven. A place where fugitives went to vanish. Set course for Black Reach, Kane ordered. No one follows us there. Scene 3. Blackreach Station. The station looked like a metal graveyard, rusted, broken, and hanging above a dead moon. But inside it was alive with crime, pirates, hackers, mercs, smugglers, no questions, no rules. The starborn Echo docked slowly. They paid in fuel, parts, and silence. Stay close, Kane warned the crew, and don't trust anyone. Scene 4. The secret in her blood. While the crew restocked and repaired, Dana ran new scans on Lunara. Something strange had shown. Up in her blood, Kane, she said in private. It's not just DNA. It's storage. Storage, he asked. She carries data, encrypted, alive. Her blood is a living memory drive. Kane turned to Lunara. Do you know about this? She nodded. It's the seed. My people built it into me before they died. If the right tech unlocks it, my people can be born again. You mean cloned? No, she said. Rebuilt. With memories, culture, identity, everything. Jonah walked in, holding a new problem. We've been pinged. What do you mean? Someone leaked our location. There's a tracker signal coming from inside the ship. Scene 5. The leak. The crew gathered in the cargo bay. Kane held up a small blinking device. This was hidden near the med bay, he said. Someone put it there. Silence. Everyone looked at each other. Jonah narrowed his eyes. It had to be someone here. No one else had access. Lyra shook her head. No way. We've all been through too much. Dana looked down. Unless someone was scared or paid. Kane paced. I don't care who it was. I care what's coming. We need to move now. Just then, alarms on the station lit up red. Multiple ships had just dropped out of warp, and they weren't here to trade. Scene 6. Attack on Blackreach. Explosions rocked the docking bay as Purifier drones and merc ships attacked. The station's defense guns fired back, but the attackers were fast. People screamed. Airlocks sealed chaos. Kane grabbed Lunara's hand. We're leaving now. Jonah and Lyra fought through crowds, clearing a path to the ship. Dana helped. Injured refugees as they ran, Lunara hesitated. She saw a small alien boy, trapped under wreckage. She ran to help him. Lunara, Kane shouted, we don't have time. But she lifted the debris with sudden strength, something glowing under her skin, and pulled the child free. Then she ran back to the crew. Scene 7. Escape. Again, the starborn Echo launched as flames filled the bay. Lunara sat quietly, eyes wide, shaking. You could have been killed, Kane told her. He was just a boy, she whispered. Like me. No, Kane said. You're not just a child anymore. He looked at his crew. None of us are. They jumped to lightspeed destination unknown. In the darkness of space, far behind them, a single message was sent. From Blackreach, encrypted, urgent. Target escaped. Seed confirmed. Pursue at all costs. The Purifiers had their proof, and the hunt wasn't over. Not even close. The starborn Echo floated quietly in deep space, hiding inside a debris field. After escaping Blackreach Station, the crew was tense, silent. Broken Captain Kane sat on the bridge, reviewing the ship's security logs. Something wasn't right. A blinking alert caught his eye. Unauthorized data. Transmission. He opened the video. It was a camera feed from Cargo Bay 3. They're clear as day. Wazarin. Their communications officer. Hood up, voice low, speaking to a figure in a black cloak through a holoscreen. Then, he did it. He uploaded their location. Kane's heart dropped. No, not Rin. The crew gathered in the mess hall. The mood was heavy. Kane played the footage. No one said a word. Jonah slammed his fist on the table. He sold us out. Lyra shook her head in disbelief. Rin saved my life last year. This doesn't make sense. Dana glanced at Lunara, who sat in the corner, arms wrapped around her knees. This is because of me, Lunara whispered. They wouldn't be hunted if I wasn't here. Kane turned to her. No, this is on him. You didn't betray anyone. But Lunara didn't look convinced. They searched the ship, but Rin was gone. His room was empty, gear missing. One escape pod gone. He knew we'd find the footage, Jonah said. Lyra checked the ship logs. The pod launched 5 hours ago. We were still flying through the dead zone. No way he could have called for pickup. He wasn't picked up, Kane said. He's hiding, or waiting. For what? Dana asked. Kane narrowed his eyes. For us to break. Lunara sat alone in the engine room, staring out a small window. Everything hurt. Her heart, her head, her soul. Everywhere she went, people suffered. People died. She couldn't take it anymore. Quietly, she stood. Walked to the airlock. Entered the code, the door hissed open. Where do you think you're going? Kane's voice echoed behind her. Lunara froze. You shouldn't be here, she said. You were trying to leave. I'm the problem, she whispered. I'm poison. Kane stepped closer. Your hope. That's why they want you gone. She turned to him, eyes wet. Then why does everyone around me fall apart? He placed a hand on her shoulder. Because you're the only one the enemy fears. Vera, the ship's AI, pinged Kane on the bridge. I found something in Rin's files, she said. Kane watched the screen light up. A private message, recorded 2 days before Rin vanished. Captain Kane, if you're seeing this, I'm sorry. I never wanted to do this. The Purifiers have my wife. My son. They showed me proof. They're alive, but barely. I was told to send your location, or they die. He paused, tears in his eyes. I'm not asking for forgiveness. Just make sure Lunara survives. Don't let them win.
The screen went black.
Kane played the message for the crew. No one spoke. He was blackmailed. Dana said softly. But people died on Blackreach, Jonah snapped. Because of him. Lyra looked at Kane. What now? We hunt him. Kane shook his head. He's still out there, and he still might be in danger. Are we really risking the ship for a traitor? Jonah asked. We're humans, Kane replied. We don't leave our own behind. The crew started repairs. Shields, weapons, armor. Lunara worked beside them, soldering wires, checking systems. Helping? Jonah asked, surprised. If I'm going to stay, she said, then I fight too. They trained together. Reviewed battle plans. Every crew member stayed armed. Kane stared at the star map. Next stop is a trade relay. If Rin sent another message, it would have bounced from there. Trap, Lyra asked. Probably, Kane said. But we walk in with our eyes open. The trade relay was quiet. Too quiet. No traffic, no docked ships, no noise. Something's wrong, Vera warned. Power is active, but no life signs detected. Kane, Lyra, and Lunara entered the station with full gear. Jonah stayed with the ship, watching the sensors. Inside, the halls were dark. Lights flickered, and then they found it. Rin tied to a chair, bleeding, bruised. Kane rushed to him. Rin, he coughed weakly. They left me, after I sent the second message. I warned others. I tried to undo it. Lyra checked his pulse. He's fading. Suddenly, Vera's voice screamed through their coms. Ambush, incoming. Hostile ships inbound 5, maybe 6. Gain grabbed Rin. Move, now. The crew raced back to the starborne Echo. Gunfire echoed in the station. Drones poured from vents. Lunara turned and lifted her hand. Energy pulsed from her skin, blasting a drone into sparks. Kane stared. You can do that? She nodded. Sometimes, when it matters. They reached the ship. Took off under fire, shields held. Once safe, Rin was taken to medbay. Jonah asked. So, we trust him again? Kane looked at his broken friend. I don't know if I trust him, he said. But I believe him. Lunara stood beside him, eyes steady. Trust is hard, she said. But it's the only thing worth saving. The starborne Echo was quiet, too quiet. Captain Kane walked the halls, checking each room. After the ambush at the trade relay, the crew had returned bruised and tired. Rin was still recovering in medbay. Everyone else was repairing systems. Or resting. Everyone. Except Lunara. Kane stopped outside the armory. The door was unlocked. He entered slowly. There in the dim light stood Lunara. Her hand trembled. She held a blaster, not at anyone else. At her own head. Her eyes were wet. Her voice was hollow. "I'm the reason everyone is dying." Kane didn't move. "I shouldn't be here," she whispered. "I bring death. Made for pain. Maybe I was never meant to survive." Kane stepped forward. "Put it down, Lunara. You should have left me in that pod." "No," he said calmly. "Because humans don't abandon family." She stared at him. "No matter how cursed we think we are," Kane said, "we don't give up on our own. Not ever." Lunara sat in the mess hall, wrapped in a blanket. The blaster was gone. Dana sat beside her, handing her warm soup.
You're not a monster. I feel like one.
Lunara said softly, "I look human, but I'm not. I glow. I break things. I see death before it comes." "No. You see danger," Dana corrected. "That's not a curse. That's a warning. You're trying to help us." Lyra walked in. "We've all felt broken, Lunara. But we get through it together," Jonah added from the corner. "Besides, if you were really cursed, Kane wouldn't have taken you in. He doesn't keep anything he doesn't believe in." Lunara blinked and gave a small nod. On the bridge, Rin stood with a bandage around his head. Weak, but awake. "I found where they're keeping my family," he told Kane. Kane leaned over the map. "The prison moon of Eltros Ix, run by the Syndicate." Rin nodded. "But Purifiers have taken over one wing. That's where my wife and son are." "Why would they hand them over to the Purifiers?" Lyra asked. "Deals," Kane growled. "Dirty ones." Jonah crossed his arms. "You really want to go back in there after what happened?" "I have to," Rin said. "They're my family." Kane looked at him, then to the rest of the crew. "We're going," he said. The Starborn Echo dropped into stealth mode and slipped toward Eltros Ix. It's hiding behind its rings. Kane, Rin, Lunara, and Lyra suited up for the rescue. "Stick to the plan," Kane said. "We get in, we get them, we get out. No hero stunts." Inside the prison complex, guards were lazy, expecting no visitors. The group used stolen codes to slip past checkpoints. Lunara stayed close to Rin. "Do you think they're okay?" "Ain't." "Don't know," Rin whispered. "But I have to believe they are." They reached the holding cells. Lunara stopped. She tilted her head. "Someone's afraid." "What?" Kane asked. "I can feel it. A child." They found a locked cell deeper. Inside was Rin's wife, badly injured, and a small boy, his son. "Maybe 6 years old?" the boy cried, clutching his mother. The door wouldn't open. It was DNA locked. "We don't have time," Kane said. "We'll blow it." "No," Lunara said. "Let me try." She placed her hands on the lock. A glow ran down her arms. The lock clicked, opened. The boy stared at her. "You're glowing," he said. Lunara smiled gently. "Only when I'm safe." She lifted him into her arms. "Let's go." But nothing ever goes easy. As they turned a corner, Syndicate guards spotted them. Alarms blared. "Move." Kane shouted. Gunfire echoed through the halls. They ran, carrying the injured and the child. At the dock, Jonah had the ship waiting, guns hot. "Open the hatch," Kane barked. Lunara shielded the boy with her body as bullets flew past. Then suddenly, one drone fired a stun round, hitting Lunara square in the chest. She dropped. Kane caught her. Lunara. Back on the ship, Dana worked fast. Lunara lay still, but breathing. "She recovered," Dana said. But she pushed her body too far again. Rin sat beside her, holding his son. "She saved them," he said. "She didn't have to, but she did." Jonah nodded. "Maybe she's not just some alien kid. Maybe she's something more." "She's one of us," Kane said firmly. "End of story." Just as things settled, Vera gave a sharp warning. "Captain. Ships incoming. Purifiers." Kane asked. "Yes. For destroyers, ETA, 15 minutes. The crew went quiet. "We just got back," Lyra said. Kane stood. "Then we fight like hell to stay alive." As the crew scrambled to battle stations, Lunara opened her eyes. "Saw them," she whispered. "In my dream. Fire. Shadows. The one in gold armor. Who? Kane asked. Their leader, she said. He's coming. The starborn echo rocked hard as enemy fire rained down from orbit. Shields are dropping fast, Lyra shouted. 3 destroyers on our tail, 4th moving to cut us off, Jonah called out. Can't outfly them, Captain Kane gripped. The console. Get us to warp. Pick any heading, just move. Vera's voice cut through the panic. Nearest safe jump path leads toward uncharted region. One system shows activity. Sanctuary X. Jonah flinched. That place is a myth. A cursed colony. It's a chance, Kane said. That's all we need. The ship jumped to warp just as plasma torpedoes struck their last shield layer. Behind them, the Purifiers screamed through space. The ship dropped out of warp. Everyone held their breath. Before them spun a green-blue planet, cracked with deep canyon scars and swirling mists. Satellites hung broken in orbit. Large towers stuck out of the forest below like stone teeth. Scans show the surface is breathable. Vera said, no signals, no lights, just silence. Rin, pale and sweating, leaned in. So this is it. The cursed colony. No one's been here in 150 years, Lyra added. The logs say people just disappeared. We're going. Kane said. We're out of options. The shuttle landed near old buildings, cracked and covered in vines. Large trees had grown through windows and ceilings. Nature had reclaimed the colony, yet power hummed faintly beneath the ground. Dana ran a scan. There's a deep energy. Source under the central tower, still active. Let's move, Kane ordered. They entered the structure hallways dark, but stable. Broken screens flickered as they passed. Murals showed scenes of early human settlers, men alien figures with glowing skin. Lunara stopped. I know these faces. What? Jonah asked. She stepped closer to a cracked wall. These are my people, the old ones. Deep inside the tower, they reached the core chamber. A large spherical machine sat on a raised platform, half covered in moss. Lines of old circuitry pulsed faintly. It's still alive, Lyra whispered. Lunara walked forward. Wait, Kane began, but she placed her hand on the sphere. Everything lit up. A surge of blue light rushed through the walls. Screens powered. On doors sealed. Everyone froze. A voice, deep, ancient, and human, spoke from the speakers. Zelari confirmed. Alliance signature recognized. Welcome, child of light. Lunara's eyes widened. It knows me. Holograms projected in the room showing history long forgotten. Early humans. Fleeing war arrived at this planet. They weren't alone. The Zelari had guided them through space. Helping humanity survive during its weakest days, they had fought, side by side, until the Purifiers came. They erased the truth, Lunara whispered. They turned us into a threat. But we were once family. Dana's hands trembled. The galaxy never knew this. They buried it all. Kane stepped forward. Sanctuary wasn't cursed. It was hidden. Then alarms screamed. Captain, Vera called from the ship. Enemy fleet just dropped out of warp. 4 ships. It's maybe more incoming. The ancient core pulsed brighter. Lines in the floor lit up like veins. Defense systems reawakening. The voice said. Outside, massive towers rose from underground plasma turrets. Shield emitters and energy cannons hummed to life. Did you do this? Lyra asked Lunara. She nodded slowly. It responded to my DNA. My kind helped build it. Jonah grinned. Remind me not to argue with you again. The Purifier destroyers began firing. Their beams hit the atmosphere, but this time the sky itself pushed back. A dome of energy wrapped the colony. Turrets fired from the ground, shooting straight into orbit. Explosions lit up the night. On the bridge, Kane stood tall. How long can the shields hold? Unknown, Vera replied. System is old but powerful, and we fight from. Here, he said, make this place our stand. Lunara stepped beside him. They want to erase what we are, but now, the truth has roots. As enemy ships circled above, more holograms lit up in the tower maps, defense controls, and ancient logs. Sanctuary X had been built for war and peace. Lunara touched the console. Her voice echoed with strength. We are not monsters. We are not weak, and we will not run anymore. Kane raised his blaster. Then we give them something to remember.
Outside.
The sky roared. The Purifiers' lead ship hovered in orbit like a dark god. A sharp tone echoed on every frequency. Then came the voice cold, motionless, inhuman. Asterisk, asterisk, you are infected with weakness. Surrender the Zelari, or be erased from existence. You have 10 minutes. Asterisk, asterisk, on the Starborn Echo's bridge, no one moved. Kane stood firm, eyes locked on the screen. Jonah growled. They don't bluff, Lyra whispered. They'll burn the planet. Lunara looked up from the ancient console, glowing. Beneath her hands, I won't let them destroy you for me, she said. Kane turned to her. You're not the problem, he said. They are. Kane pressed the come switch. This is Captain Elias Kane of the Starborn Echo. You want someone to fear? He leaned forward, voice like steel. We're not surrendering anything. And we're not afraid of monsters who hide. Behind fire, he cut the line. The crew watched in silence. Then Kane turned to Vera. The ship's AI patched me into the public relay. All systems, all open channels. All across the local systems, screens lit up. On mining colonies. On orbital stations, in cramped freighters and fancy lounges, a human voice spoke, followed by something no one expected. Lunara's memories, projected from her mind into holographic streams, people saw Zelari helping early humans escape slavery. They saw Purifiers bombing peaceful cities. They saw children Zelari, children crying as their planets burned. A final image, Lunara in her pod, drifting through black space, alone. A soft voice whispered, We chose peace. They chose silence. Now I choose truth. Signal ended, and sparks ignited across the stars. On a border world, Fleet Admiral turned off the Purifier beacon. On a trade station, Bounty Hunter removed his mark tracking device. On a civilian moon, thousands marched into the streets, chanting Lunara's name. Rebellion had begun. Back on Sanctuary X, the crew moved fast. Lyra activated automated turrets across the hills. Jonah braided the Starborn Echo's cannons with old defense tech. Dana helped citizens from nearby villages, who'd hidden underground for generations, find safety inside. The tower Kane stood beside Lunara in the core chamber. They're still coming, he said. Lunara nodded. Then so are we. She placed her hand on the central node. Lights flared. The ground trembled. Outside, deep in the forests and beneath mountain ridges, the earth split open. Hangars long buried by time opened their jaws, ships dashed sleek, glowing. Ancient rose into the sky. Not human ships, not Purifier ships. Zelari ships, dozens of them, powered by living energy. The Sanctuary Corps spoke once more. Defense Fleet Protocol, awakened. Guardian-class cruisers. Online, Kane looked out the window. Jonah gasped. That's a whole army. Lunara's eyes glowed bright. No, that's my family. In orbit, the Purifier ships began their descent. They opened fire on the planet. Plasma rained from the sky. But this time, Sanctuary fired back. Beams of golden light burst from mountain cannons and Zelari ships. Explosions tore through the enemy ranks. The Starborn Echo lifted into the sky, flying alongside the awakened fleet. Vera's voice reported. 2 enemy destroyers disabled. 1 retreating. Kane grinned. Good. Let them run. Lunara stood at the core, still linked. They're not done, she said. There's more coming. On the bridge, Kane looked over his crew. Everyone stood ready, weapons armed. Eyes sharp. We made our choice, he said. We stood for something, and now we fight for it. Rin nodded. For truth, Jonah smirked. For the kid, Lyra smiled. For humanity. Lunara stood tall. No more hiding. The fleet rose into orbit as the second wave of Purifiers arrived, and in the heart of it all, a young alien girl once abandoned, now armed with truth led a war for the future. The stars burned with war. Dozens of Purifier ships filled the sky over Sanctuary X. They came in waves, black and silver hulls, massive cannons, swarms of drones. The starborn Echo flew in front of the planet like a tiny shield. Captain Kane stood on the bridge, eyes locked on the main display. Outnumbered. Gunned. No backup. Jonah looked up, still standing. Lyra loaded missiles, still human. Below them, Lunara stood at the heart of the Sanctuary core, surrounded by glowing tech older than Earth itself. She breathed deep. My eyes glowed. I can do this, she whispered. Then she placed her hands on the ancient interface and gave everything. The moment her fingers touched the core, Sanctuary lit up like a supernova. The AI's voice boomed. Zelari genetic source confirmed. Legacy unlock sequence complete. Lunara's body lifted into the air, surrounded by beams of light and symbols. Her DNA, ancient and rare, flowed into the systems. She wasn't just activating a machine, she was becoming part of it. The ground shook. Across the valley, hidden bunkers opened. More Zelari ships, sleeker and larger than the rest, roared to life. They were the legacy fleet, the last memory of a fallen race, and now they were ready to fight. Kane watched in awe as glowing cruisers rose into the sky, taking formation beside the starborn Echo. Those ships, Rin whispered, they look alive. They are, Lunara's voice said through the speakers. They're connected to me. You okay, kid? Jonah asked. I'm everything, she answered. And I'm not alone. The ships moved in perfect sync, responding to her thoughts. But she wasn't just leading, she was part of them. The Purifiers opened fire. Their destroyers rained plasma bolts toward the planet. But now, the defense grid fought back, fully powered, ancient but fierce. Zelari cruisers zipped between enemies, blasting their engines and shields. Human fighters from allied worlds who had heard Lunara's broadcast arrived and joined the fight. One rebel fleet jumped in from the Kordax Rim. Another came from the moons of Theros. Across the galaxy, people had risen, not just to save a planet, but to protect her. Victory didn't come easy. The starborn Echo lost an engine as a drone swarm smashed into its hull. Jonah took a hit, shielding the medbay, burned but alive. 3 Zelari ships were destroyed defending a human cruiser. Kane's voice broke through the comes. Hold the line. We don't give up now. The core chamber. Lunara strained, fighting to hold the AI connection. Yet a legacy fleet needed her full focus. She was sweating, crying, but she didn't stop. Just a little longer, she told herself. Just a little more. Then one of the legacy cruisers pierced the Purifier flagship with a massive energy beam. The enemy ship cracked in two, lighting up space with blue fire. The rest of the Purifier fleet began to fall back. On their main channel, a last transmission echoed. They were never weak. They were never infected. We were wrong. And then they were gone. The sky was quiet again. Sanctuary X stood untouched. Lunara collapsed in the core room, breathing heavily. Kane rushed in and caught her. You did it, he said. No, she whispered. We did it. Rin held his son close. Lyra looked up at the stars. What now? Jonah limped in. We rebuild. Later, the crew gathered around Lunara. Sanctuary offered her a choice. Remain connected to the legacy fleet, live as their new queen and protector, or walk away and live among humans. She looked at Kane, at Jonah, at Lyra, Dana, and Rin. I came from the stars, she said. I carry a past, but I choose my future. She stepped away from the core. I choose you. Months later, Sanctuary X had become something new. Home ships came from across the galaxy, human and alien alike, bringing supplies, help, and hope. The starborn Echo was repaired and became a patrol vessel, guarding peace. Lunara walked the colony paths, no longer hiding. Children ran up to her. Some touched her glowing hands. She smiled. She wasn't cursed. She wasn't a weapon. She was family, and she was the girl who changed everything. The end. Subscribe to HFY Sci-Fi Starbound for more epic stories,